Hi, it's Mark from Mark the Cyberbeast. We were going to have a special guest to talk about steer-by-wire, but that got rescheduled to next week because he had to fly. Very important guest. But today we're going to go over something really cool, something many of you don't realize because you may only have one Tesla. But if you have two, or if you have multiple drivers, profiles and what profiles do go deeper than I think many of you realize. So we're going to show you the inside of my Cybertruck with my profile, as well as the inside of my wife's Model 3 with my profile, so you see what happens when I go from one Tesla of ours to another and how everything works out and some cool things. And again, this is really neat because if you have a spouse and you've got two vehicles, your profiles will match, and it's not just seats. So we're going to show you all the intricacies with this, so stay tuned. Okay, so many of you think the profile is just for seat adjustment. And while that's one aspect of it, it's actually the entire operation of your vehicle. Now, one of the things I do want to mention though with profiles is the easy entry with the Cybertruck. But if you look at the top here, you'll see a person, and that's, if you press on that, you'll see your different profiles. Now you'll see my wife's, mine, easy entry. Now easy entry, depending how you set that, with I have it on mine, is I have the seat pushed back so I can take myself out easily. And with easy entry, obviously it lowers the truck as well, but the profile for easy entry keeps the seat back. So if I'm coming into the vehicle, I've got lots of room, right? Actually, I've got too much room, I can barely reach the pedal. But when I finally engage the brake, it changes to my profile and adjusts the seat for what I want to do. But again, it does more than just that. So one of the things it does, if you look at the screen here, I've got a Spotify account, okay? Now, when I'm in here as a profile, the Spotify account works. But if my wife were to take the vehicle, if she didn't have Spotify, and she does because we have a two-person account for Spotify, then if she didn't have an account, the Spotify would not be logged in. It would be the free Spotify account. Now, since we have the two-person account for Spotify, for instance, I have things that I listen to. I have my 80s, my Guns N' Roses, my Joe Rogan, but my wife will have the Spotify stuff that she listens to. So the Spotify information follows her over based upon profile. Now suppose you had somebody else borrowing this, okay, and it was a different profile, and it wasn't Dolly and it wasn't me, then you'd have Spotify be the free version of Spotify. Spotify follows the profile, not the vehicle. So I'm going to switch over to Dolly as the profile, and the seat just moved up a lot further, okay? Now, you'll see she's actually got some other things. She listened to Sheryl Crow, Love Tones Radio, etc. So her Dandy Warhol's favorite. So she's got her favorites right there, and that's her Spotify history, okay? So that's pretty cool on that aspect because that follows you around. And if you're used to computers and Windows, and if you were like a network administrator for years like I was, you may have heard of roaming profiles. Now, one of the things I did when I just changed the profile to me, I'm not sure if you can hear it or not, but the AC is on 4, okay? But when I had it on Dolly, you may have heard the fan stop because hers is set at 69 degrees and one fan. Now, that setting was from her Model 3, not from the Cybertruck, okay? Because if she's going from vehicle to vehicle and it's maybe the same day, okay, she wants the same temperature controls. So not only does the music follow her over, but not only the fan from 1 to 4, because I had it on 4, but look, she likes it blowing up, okay? That's where she likes it blowing. But if I change it back to my profile, you'll see mine is a little further down, okay? So aside from being on the fan 4, it's straighter into there like that. So it's really cool that the profile does way more than just the seat. Now, the other thing too is the phone, okay? For me, my phone is the Pixel 8 Pro. My wife is just the Pixel 8. So by default, it knows whose phone is which. But again, all of the settings on here, also too, I want to go back and show you the controls, okay, and the dynamics. So I always keep mine on beast mode, but my wife, I'm not sure how she rides it. No, she rides it on beast too. But if she rode it on custom or comfort, it would follow her around that way. Her autopilot settings are going to be a little bit different as well. But again, with mine, yeah, in fact, you just see that the mine set for the maximum speed offset is 40%, whereas hers is 15%. Okay, so there's definitely, you know, she's not as aggressive of a driver as me, and that's fine. But again, that's just something that I want to make sure you're aware of, all these settings. Also too, one of the things I know is different, I'm not sure exactly where it is, so bear with me, is the distance between vehicles. Okay, the reason why I couldn't find the car distance between vehicles is because my Cybertruck, it doesn't have it. It's hardware 4. My wife's Model 3 is hardware 3. Okay, so you can set a number for how many car lengths in between vehicles. So if that were to follow over, that would also follow over in the profile. But we're going to take a look at the screen, and I want to show you some more things that follow over from my settings on the Cybertruck over to the Model 3. Okay, so we have it on easy entry, which in the setting for this car is set per the vehicle. So I'm going to change the profile to mine. And when I do that, it moves the seat up to where it needs to be. Now, if I go to my Spotify, you should see I'm logged in, and it's got my 80s, my Kid Rock, my Guns N' Roses, all the stuff that I listen to, my Gary Brecka, etc. But if, again, in my wife's car, we go to her Spotify, it's going to be her setting, so it follows her over. Now, again, the other thing is the fan turned on for her, because, you know, that's her setting. You change it to mine, and the fan will go off. So that's my setting on here. And if I go over to dynamics, mine's set on sport, and let's see, autopilot. My maximum set speed is 40%, and that is it for that. See if there's any other settings. Nope. Okay, so we changed it over to my wife's profile. You'll notice the screen itself is dimmer because she doesn't have it as bright as I do. All right, so we go to dynamics. She's also on sport, and some of the settings for her are the same. Now, what we did was she saw my max speed offset was at 40%. So before, when we were off camera, we changed her 25% to 40%. So that's why it's 40%. It's the same as mine now, because I guess she didn't like it going so slow in FSD. Anyway, so all the settings, whether it's the navigation, for instance, the volume. Look at the volume of navigation on my wife's. It's like 3/4 of the way up. We changed it to mine, and it's about halfway, so it's definitely a lot lower. Again, all the settings that we tweak and have for ourselves follow us over to other Teslas. So when we go ahead and get our Teslas serviced at the service center, and they go ahead and they give us a Tesla loaner, guess what? All those settings populate over. So you're going to have your Spotify follow you over, your driving settings and FSD follow you over. It's really cool. Now, this is called fleet management, okay? And the cool thing is if you have, maybe it's a city and they've got several Teslas, and the employees, they don't have a dedicated car. It's just grab whatever car you want, right? And anyone can just jump into any car because it's tied to their account, and their profile follows them over. And the other things too about it, I want to make sure that I cover everything, because I know this sounds trivial, but it is really cool. Let me close this up. Navigation, okay? You know, it's going to have the places. I'm trying to get that off there. There we go. Okay. So you look at here, I was just at Harbor Freight, I was just at Lowe's, I was just at North Myrtle Beach Aquatic Center, etc., Eggs Up Grill, the Joint Chiropractic. My wife, though, Again, all these settings are based on hers, okay? Kroger, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, etc. So the cool thing is, all that stuff follows the person. Now, I don't know of any other vehicle that does this kind of fleet management, so to speak, because honestly, it's really designed per car. But Tesla looks at it as a per person type of thing. Again, like a Windows roaming profile. I think it's often overlooked, but it's a really cool feature. And that's what today's feature was about these profiles. Make sure you know about it, because one day you're gonna have more than one Tesla. You might even have 3 or 4, and an Optimus, and solar panels, and everything else. So that's roaming profiles for your Tesla. I want to thank you for joining me today. Before you go, remember, tell others, and always hit like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.